Hi, my dear Astro family. Here is the aspect of the week video, and today we are going to be breaking down how the Mars, Chiron, and the lunar node T square is going to be playing out. This aspect started around the 20th of January, but actually peaking on the 28th. And probably you will feel it till around the 10th of February. So, of course, we're talking about a 3 week window here. Of course, Chiron is about healing. So we're going to have to do a bit of a healing here. By the way, Chiron is the focal point of this aspect as well. Now, before we start that, I have got a huge promotion going on. Everything is on 50% discount at the moment. Personal reading, courses, webinars. You can find some really cool courses actually on my website right now. Until April, I've posted about what I'm going to be teaching. So check them out. And then if you would like to book a personal reading with me, that's also possible. But unfortunately, I have only openings from April onwards. Now, let's get going. Oh, and one more thing. If you would like to sign up for my membership program as well, then there is a yearly discount at the moment. You can get 20% if you pay the whole year in advance, and there is also a 6-month option as well. So it's really exciting what is happening at the moment. Let's get going with this Chiron configuration, P square. Oh, wow, finally, I managed to say that. So basically what we are seeing here is that we've got Mars, Chiron, and the nodes forming a so-called configuration that is T square. Now, T square is when we have got a planet that is actually in focus. And in that case, this is going to be Mars and, well, pretty much Chiron as well at the same time. Chiron is because it's sitting on the north node. So what you will see in this chart is that we've got Mars on 17 degree of Capricorn. Then we've got Chiron sitting around 15 degree of Aries. And then, of course, the lunar nodes are sitting around 18th degree of Aries to Libra as well. So let's break that down. I mean, first of all, the focal point is Mars, but because Chiron is sitting on North Node, this is really important. So what it pretty much tells me is that if Chiron is about the wounded healer, we are meant to be healing something here. We are meant to be healing something around our entitlement. We are meant to be healing about our individuality. Now, the reason why it's extremely important is because Mars is the dispositor of this Chiron and North Node energy as well. So even though this is a 3 week transit, you know what? This might be actually lingering in the entire 2024 because Mars and Chiron will be sitting together, and we're going to have an upcoming eclipse, for example, in April, that is going to be very tight with this Chiron as well. So there is something to review here. There is something to review in regards to how confident you feel about yourself, how well put together you are. This is about finding a mentor, becoming a mentor, or starting a healing process somehow. And Mars is actually what it does is it cuts things away or it fires things up. So either it wants to speed up the healing process for you, or even it wants to speed up, for example, the process of you finishing up a job or leaving your workplace because it's in the sign of Capricorn, which is connected to social status, work, as well as something to do with the reward. So let's finish something quickly so that we can get the reward quicker as well. Now, Chiron conjunct in the North Node, it's very much about healing your journey, healing your goals when it comes to achieving your life purpose. So, but often it comes with a bit of a trauma. So it's about overcoming some of the obstacles, becoming courageous to get where you need to be so that in the long run, you can become successful. The success comes from Mars being in the sign of Capricorn. And of course, North Node is always going to be representing us a possibility of growth somewhere. Now, what might be the challenges? Because this is a square. First of all, this is the challenge of the fear of initiating, to be in competition with someone or something. You might feel that there is no point in trying to compete with a situation or with a person because, I don't know, they have got better finances, for example. So what's the point in me trying, right? So it means that you've already given up. Is that a good mindset? Probably we all know the answer to that. Often actually with Chiron and Mars, the idea is that, oh, it's not nice to be selfish. Right now, that might be the case because we've got the South Node in the sign of Libra. So the people-pleasing element needs to be given up. Maybe you are giving up on things that you really want just for the sake of keeping your partner around, for example, or to make them happy, or to give them the opportunity to be able to achieve their dreams. What about yours? So this is teaching you somehow to be a little bit more selfish. Maybe you've got the idea of being incompetent about something, right? So it's better not to start because I'm going to be failing anyway. It could actually talk to you about being a little bit depressed as well. So how to get out of that depressive mode somehow. I mean, Mars in Capricorn is really about hard work. So it is about working hard. But then often what happens is that I'm working hard, but it doesn't take me anywhere. People who cheat and lie get to the top of the hierarchy ladder, or yeah, the top of the hierarchy ladder. And me, who is trying to do everything with integrity, Capricorn, I do not get anywhere. So where is the fairness? So maybe I need to stop being fair. South Node in the sign of Libra. Maybe you feel like that you made a promise and you want to be delivering on that promise and you do not want to fail. You do not want to disappoint others. But sometimes, you know what, when we try to do too many things at once, or when we try to deliver something, but for the disadvantage of your own, then maybe you need to draw that back, as harsh or as brutal as it sounds. Maybe you feel like you are going to get punished for something that you have never even done. Maybe you think that arguing is wrong, standing up for yourself is wrong. Maybe actually you feel that if you started something, you must finish it, because maybe that's the belief system what you were born with, or that's what the parents pretty much taught you. Now, in the Chiron webinars, I did talk about how much role Chiron plays in early education, especially by the parents. So often this is something we learn from them, and we need to be breaking away from those. And Mars is pretty much about that, right? Cutting away from things. And you know, often Mars and Chiron is just kind of like, do as you are told. This is exactly what we were kind of told by our parents. And now you're going to have to break away from that. The wounds are related somehow to your identity. Maybe actually you lost direction in life. You do not know anymore who you are. You do not know where you are heading, what is going to bring you success. And that's what you need to actually work with. Yes, Mars can represent vitality as well. So it's very possible that you're going to have to work a little bit more on your physical health. Maybe you feel a bit weaker. Maybe actually there is a scar on the physical body as well, whether it's a physical or emotional one, you know, that doesn't matter. But what can I do about that scar? How can I make that vanish? Maybe I need to buy a cream, for example, and that's going to be helping. And then I will feel better. Maybe you feel like you are getting abused at workplace, for example. someone is trying to take control over your life, or someone is continuously undermining your abilities. Maybe actually you feel like you're getting ignored. Maybe getting ignored at work. They do not see your efforts and hard work, but also it's very possible that you are getting ignored by your parents as well. So, what is making you feel weaker? What is draining your vitality? Because that might need to be somehow cut out. Often, actually, when it comes to Mars as being the planet of sexuality, then it might be the fact that I feel important. I feel ugly somehow. I feel I'm having some physical limitations. Maybe I'm just afraid of presenting myself to others. Maybe I'm afraid of introducing myself in a different way than you desire. So there is a little bit of a self-worth issue here. There is a fear of humiliation. There might be a potential of feeling ashamed of our body, or even because we did something in the past. I mean, Mars is in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is connected to past overall. And that might be something that you're going to have to remember now and overcome it. Often actually that maybe that wound you have been carrying and you need to cut out now is actually something that you need to be sharing with others. Because Capricorn is connected to publicity. It's kind of like being proud of your scar. If it was important, probably I would stand up and I would show all my scars, what I have got on my body, because it's about being proud of your scars. I've got scars on my armpit. I've got scars on my chest. I've got scar all around my waistline, back and on front as well. And soon I'm going to be having scars on my legs too. But I need to be proud of that, because that is the sign of extreme hard work, right? Due to weight loss. So what are your scars, and can you be happy of them because they made who you are in a negative and positive way as well? That Mars in Capricorn is about figuring out your future, basically. So it wants you to have a strong desire to figure out the meaning to life. It is telling you to become brave, to style yourself. Mars can represent your style or your reactionary style to certain type of situations. You know what? Maybe the problem is that you are having hardship of asking for things to be done, and then you think that you need to be doing them. Well, this is actually telling you that you might want to stop a little bit, and it's okay. You need to put your pride aside, and it's okay to ask for a certain type of help. Maybe you feel like you are struggling to survive. Who can help you here? North Node, and especially Chiron, can represent a mentor, a helping hand, who is going to do that for you just out of pure heart, really. Now, I know that is pretty rare, by the way, but it could be the case. Yes, maybe the external manifestation of that is that people are going to try to prove you wrong. For example, at workplace, or you might be experiencing those from your own family, and even your partner can do that as well. Maybe you have been allowing others to push you aside, and therefore you are just accumulating anger. I mean, Capricorn is a cardinal sign, so it's more to do with straightforwardness, but it's still feminine, which would indicate that the anger might get accumulated inside. But at one point, that Mars might burst out. Obviously, Saturn in the sign of Libra says that okay, I shouldn't be as a people pleaser as I want to be, but at the same time, we are drawn back to that south node all the time. Maybe you're gonna get some criticism, for example, at work with Mars in Capricorn, or by your parents. It's kind of like being scolded off. And then you are like, I'm not a 2-year-old child anymore to scold me off like that. So that Mars will want you to stand up for yourself. But are you trying to suppress your rage and anger? How can you use anger to fuel you to achieve something else? It is about entitlement. It is about not being a people pleaser anymore. It is definitely about noticing or attending your own needs rather than satisfying other people's needs. It is possibly about attending other people's needs, but it's more to do with fighting for them or empowering them or motivating them rather than doing something um, or instead of them completely. It might be just putting a piece of puzzle in for them so that they are one step closer to the solution. This might be actually about relationship issues. I mean, Mars often has that. So, how to overcome the relationship challenges? Maybe it's about you not being self-sufficient anymore, having to rely on others. And then now you are thinking, I have to learn to rely on myself more so that the power is not handed over to others. Maybe in worst case scenarios, this Mars and Chiron, why am I harming myself? Why am I a self-sabotager? The inner saboteur. Who is that? How to eliminate that inner saboteur? Maybe you are having trouble to initiate the project you're working on. Maybe you're going to be experiencing some delays. Maybe you are trying to rush into things or you have rushed into things and actually you regret them. Or maybe you hesitate over starting something new because it is really scary. But this might be forcing you to make a choice. Maybe in regards to relationship as well. Often actually what happens is with this combination that we feel like relationship is hard anyway. Maybe actually you believe that it's not easy to love or it's not easy to be loved. So, of course, it is somehow because Mars is the focal point and it is in the sign of Capricorn. So it might be connected to work. Very possible that you're going to be running into some problems at work. Maybe you have to do a work that you hate. Maybe you've got some relationship problems and then you take them into your workplace and it's going to be affecting you. Maybe you are a pushover at work. Maybe you feel like that your reputation is at risk. Maybe it is about not knowing how to achieve something, not knowing what you want actually. And maybe it's just a desire to change job. You somehow getting maybe overlooked at workplace or people are trying to domineer somehow over you. Maybe you do not get the respect from others. Other people are receiving the respect instead of you. Maybe it's about just lack of direction. I do not feel that my work is going anywhere. So this is something that you need to be working on at the moment. I hope this video helps you to understand how the Chiron, Mars, and the lunar nodes might be working out for you. But definitely this combination is going to stir up some unhealed trauma. And this is telling you that this trauma, whatever ways it's going to get portrayed in your current life, is actually comes from somewhere. And this is asking you to figure out where it comes from. And you know what? Mars wants to heal really quickly. But in the sign of Capricorn, it says, we don't need to rush. Let's just do as much as the soul can bear. I mean, Mars square Chiron has become exact on the 25th of January, by the way. But the lunar nodes are really getting somehow switched on the 28th. And I just would like to mention that it's pretty close, of course, to the Jupiter-Pluto T-square related full moon as well, right? So the T-square is with the moon, sun, Jupiter, and Pluto. And even though Mars is not necessarily play a role in that. But Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. So from a chronological point of view, it looks to me that there is something to heal around Mars and Chiron first, so that we can make the most of that Jupiter-Pluto potentials as well, which is really about an evolutionary progression or improvements made, let's say financially, or a recognition that might come from a superior, for example, or just it's about somehow winning. Anyway, loads of possibilities with that. I don't want to go into that because I did break it down for you. I also would like to mention that Mars is pretty close to Mercury as well at the same time. So this is maybe, again, just giving us the ability to learn, to think clearer, or at least to be able to write down our problems. Obviously, Capricorn is very disciplined, organized, structured. So it focuses the mind. So it's easier to focus on what really matters at the moment. So, guys, this was my weekly aspect. If you like the video, please press like, subscribe to the channel, and check out my birthday promotions. Have a good one. Bye-bye.